but we're going to go back up to Capitol Hill to the Cannon Rotunda. It's Congressman Jim Baird joining us, Republican, represents Indiana's 4th Congressional District, also a member of the Foreign Relations Committee. Congressman Baird, good morning to you. On foreign relations, can we start on that ceasefire deal that was announced yesterday? Sounds like it's hit some snags today, but what was your reaction to that deal's announcement?
Well, I think that's a real opportunity for that area to come to an understanding on how they're going to get along. And yet, I do not criticize Prime Minister Netanyahu for what he's resisting, because he's asking for all the requirements of that agreement to be complied with. And so I think that's an important aspect, to make sure that we recover those hostages, which I've heard President Trump say that they should never have been taken. And I don't disagree with that. But now that it's where we are, then I think they need to be released.
An interesting dynamic yesterday, Joe Biden taking credit for this deal, and then President-elect Donald Trump taking credit for this deal coming together in his Truth Social post. Does it matter, and who do you think should get the credit?
Well, you know, to me, sometimes it really doesn't matter who gets the credit for some of this stuff, at least from my perspective on some of the things that I do. But in this case, I really think that President Trump has put a pressure on the situation, and I think that's going to be a real feature as far as trying to reach a compromise, and I think that's appropriate.
Look ahead to Monday. Beyond the inaugural ceremonies here on Capitol Hill, what are you expecting to see from then President Trump on Monday in terms of executive orders? What does he need to deliver on his first day in office?
I think he's been working on that. We've been working on that, in fact, in the House, and Speaker Johnson has done a good job of keeping us informed of what the incoming president wants, and as of today, I think we're pretty well in conjunction with each other, and that's going to be important to make sure we move this through fast and through appropriately.
Do you think it's going to be immigration and border control? Is it energy? How many things can he do on day one?
Well, I don't know that there's a limit on how much he can do, but certainly the things you've just mentioned about the border. I mean, there's never been a situation or a country that didn't know who was coming in and who was leaving and all of that. And in military, my military background would say, you never moved into a new area and established a perimeter so that you could tell who was coming and who was going. And so this is important for this country. So controlling the border, energy is going to be a major factor. When we shut down the pipeline at the very beginning of this administration, then that really started an inflation process. And everything in this country moves by either ship or air or by rail or truck, and that takes fuel. And so as soon as you put a war on fossil fuels, you're going to have inflation as a result, because everyone's going to pass that expense down for the products that they produce and haul. So that's going to be an important aspect of what we try to do in this first 100 days.
You talk about your military background. I want to focus on your farm background and also your service on the Agriculture Committee. What is the status? Can you just bring viewers up to date on the status of the Farm Bill?
Well, we did such a good job in the 118th with the Farm Bill, and we had a lot of support from various organizations across the country. So I'm hoping that we can use that as a real strong base. If there are some things that we need to tweak because of the changes in the economy, you know, the agricultural community has not had a lot of commodities that have had good prices in recent times, and so it is important that we provide that safety net for them to get through this. And a lot of us don't really appreciate where the food comes from and how hard those individuals, ranchers and farmers, work to produce that food that we all eat, and we take it for granted sometimes. And so back to your original question, the Farm Bill, I think we're going to move that forward because it's so important. And we're almost, a year late already? So it's time to get that moving. And we have a lot of support out in the rural communities and in the farm communities to want us to do that.
Are you concerned at all about what Donald Trump's promises on tariffs and mass deportations? how that could impact the agriculture industry in this country?
Well, the deportations, I think interested in those people that are criminals and been doing bad things for some of the citizens in this country. I think we need to find them and get them out of this, because our families aren't safe, our children aren't safe, and so I think that's an important aspect. And then as far as agriculture is concerned, yes, we do need employees, but we need legal and workers and laborers to handle our farm and work in our farm economy and our farm industries, really.
Before you go, did want to ask you about the confirmation hearings on Capitol Hill this week. A lot going on. Which ones have you been able to watch? What are you focused on?
Well, I think they've all been interesting. I mean, certainly you have to have an interest, but Pete Hegseth, did a great job in his answers. He was well informed, well prepared. Pam Gandhi did a great job. I mean, she answered the questions, and you got to be proud of her for the way she stood up for her beliefs and aspects that she intends to improve the Department of Justice. But all of them were important. I think President Trump has done a good job of selecting individuals that can bring the kinds of common sense to our government and do the efficiencies that are important.
Come Monday, are you going to be at inauguration?
I am.
Do you know where your seat's going to be?
Is that okay?
Do you know where your seat's going to be?
I know where it's at, but I'll have to look for it a little more. But
concerned at all about the weather come Monday?
I did. I'm looking for a pair of heated underwear. How about that?
Congressman Jim Baird of Indiana, Hoosier, joining us this morning, Republican and member of several committees on Capitol Hill. Appreciate your time, Congressman. We'll let you get to your work on Capitol Hill. Come join us again and stay warm on Monday.
You bet, and thank you very much.